So here I am, catching up with the news of today on the test server in War Robots, when an idea struck me. What if we slapped one of the oldest brawling weapon for Titans onto the newest and most broken Titan coming into the game, the BEDWYR? And the result of that, well, let me just show you before explaining too much, okay? For those who don't know, Grom and Squall are among the oldest brawling weapons for Titans. They were not necessarily the oldest weapons, they came in a little later, but yeah, they were still among the first. And let's see how they do. By the way, you saw I was locked and focused. I had 30,000 health with the BEDWYR Titan, but double repair amps actually, heal me up. Plus, the Titan itself does that too. And so I'm back to 900,000 a few minutes later, or a few seconds later actually. Yeah, even though I'm very slow with my legs being damaged. You see, I barely have the power to get through the Dagon shield with these shotguns. But okay, it's a tiny target. Let's go for the Titan. And yeah, the Titan does indeed take a bit more damage because it's larger and we hit it better with the spread. But I mean, it feels like I'm throwing snowballs at this guy. I mean, seriously, the only damage he's taking is when somebody else shoots him. He can just sit there and laugh at me while I shoot him with 3 freaking Titan weapons, dude. That is just sad. I mean, these shotguns are... Okay, we're both locked now. These shotguns can do a little bit of damage when you get super close. I'll show you this also in a second, but, you know, if we were to really make an experience, a review about these shotguns, then a 300-meter shooting is what you're going to be doing a lot with these weapons, because you first have to get so close. So it's part of the normal experience of using these weapons, is that you're not always in perfect 30 meters shotgun blast range, okay? And so here comes a little question, maybe, okay? Why do these weapons have to suck so bad at medium range? I mean, even low range. I mean, below 300 meters, it's like zero. It's like super short range. And look, I'm shooting him. He's only taking damage because somebody else shoots him. What comes from my weapons is completely neglectable. I'm firing empty my shells, but nothing is happening to the enemy. Like, literally nothing. Here I can at least drop the shields, because the shields has a larger hitbox than the robot. But after the shield goes down, yeah, I mean, there is not really too much damage coming in anymore once the robot hitbox takes over, right? And I think these weapons, they should have a bit of a more substantial reason to exist in the game. One that allows you to perform, well, somewhat acceptable, even against robots. And let's face it, not every, you're not always going to stand point-blank shotgun range with enemies. And yeah, so we'll see the next situation right now, basically, how I face another BEDWYR Titan. He's going to be using the flamethrowers, and I'll be using these shotguns, and I go really close, and I even outplay him. I even bait his shield ability, then I come around the corner and unload the entire shotguns on him. And yeah, let's see how that looks. I got myself locked and focused pretty well. I pop up the shield and instantly fill up my health because of blocking damage. So here comes the BEDWYR Titan that I'm talking about. I believe he's got the flamethrowers, but we'll see. The new flamethrower weapons, I've already shown you this video, ladies and gentlemen. In the top right, also in the channel, I'll link it down in the description, pinned comment for you, is the video with this Titan and the new shotguns, the new flamethrowers. So, he just had his shield, and I'm just coming in now and unloading the entire brawling shotguns in his face. And look, I mean, he's taking damage. Yeah, don't get me wrong. At that range against a big Titan, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. But I believe most other weapons, including these flamethrowers that reach 500 meters far, very effective damage output at that range, they would have probably killed him in that time. I don't think he would have survived it. And here's an Heimdall Titan. I'm bringing up the shield again. And also the Heimdall, well, he does take some damage, but it's not really the amount of damage that feels so dangerous how it probably should feel for a shotgun in that range, right? The thing is here, I needed to push because they had this Eiffel Titan with homing bullets, and he would have just killed me around the corner. So I only had 30 seconds more to live, and I decided to just go in and brawl at least for a few seconds before I die. But yeah, so it's By the way, if you like the video content, ladies and gentlemen, you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, please. I would really appreciate having you on board for the next videos as well. But when it comes here to these new to these old shotguns on the new Titan, it just goes to show that a Titan can be, or a robot can be as good as it wants. If the weapons are useless, then your robot is going to be useless. And these shotguns are simply useless. I'm sorry to say, but it's just not working. It's just not working. You really have to stand point blank, and then you'll feel a bit of damage coming in, and then it's okay. It performs like acceptable, and in that regard, it is very similar to to Thunders, right? Although I would argue that the Thunders actually do better than these shotguns do, for like considering they're a robot weapon. Of course, these weapons do more damage than Thunder, but considering those are Titan weapons, I feel like the Thunders are performing better. So here he's bringing up his shield. Thankfully, he's got the homing machine guns, and they're empty, so he doesn't have a lot of firepower now. Coming in and now going to really deal some damage here. Look, but this is my damage, and now look what my friends are doing. And he's going down instantly, right? I mean, I'm standing point blank with shotguns. Other guys are coming in, and he dies 3 times faster, because they do damage now with other weapons. I mean, these weapons here, these homing machine guns, do better damage, even though they fire 600 meters with absolute perfect accuracy. They only eventually run empty of firepower, and then they will lose damage output compared to the shotguns. But until then, they basically deal better damage, and that absolute perfect accuracy and that 600 meters, even around corners. Just, you know, to clarify old versus new, or to put this in perspective. So this is something that Pixonic should work on, but it's something that I can say on every video. It's like that older weapons, and I like to experiment around with older weapons because they're part of the game, and it's fun to use them from time to time, because, you know, they have been built, they have been designed, they have been balanced, they have been put into the game, and I love to make use of that content in the game. But unfortunately, if the content is like this useless, then it's really hard to make any useful content with it that makes you think, oh cool, that's an interesting weapon, maybe I want to try this out myself or something. Here, look, I mean, at that range against the Invader, yeah, it's a good damage output coming in. At that range, I can actually hurt the Invader. Hold on, we're gonna go back to him any second now. Here we go, boom, boom, boom. This is good damage, yeah, for a few seconds until we're empty. But it's just, yeah, how often is somebody gonna stand right in front of you like that, right? And not have stealth or absorber shields or impossible resistances or whatever, you know? How often is somebody stand this close in front of you and it's actually vulnerable? Because this is another thing. Back in the days, robots were just vulnerable all the time, and if you just get close to them, you can shoot them with shotguns. But now robots are like invincible 90% of the playtime, or 90% of the time when you encounter them, because they regenerate their cooldown in cover, and then they come back out with invincibilities, right? So they are like 30-40% realistically invincible, but the moment you can really shoot them is like 70-80% of that time they are like resistant. Here's another example. Of course, the Ohokochi has been nerfed now, so it's no longer full invincibility here, but that's what it was before, right? And look at the Curie. I mean, the cooldown on bringing the turrets back is what, 6 seconds or some nonsense like that? And it's like more than 50% of the time he has bonus health and is getting invincibilities pretty much. Although you can technically deal damage, but he's gonna get the health back, right? So, And then factoring that in together with the bad performing weapons, it's just very dangerous and difficult to make good content with it. Let's put it like that. And bringing me back to the point where I say, Pixonic, please look at these older weapons. They need to be rebalanced. They need to be a part of the game too, right? I mean, they have been designed, implemented, and people have there are people who like them. Look, I did 3 million damage, another person did 7.5 million. I was one of the first to have the Titan on the battlefield, and I could barely impact anything with it. Whereas if I had the flamethrowers, all those daggons and the dead, everything would just die instantly, right? But yeah, so I thought I'd share this with you. The newest upcoming Titan is coming to the game sometime soon. The flamethrowers too will be very powerful, but those shotguns are not. And they're not working. So yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.